9, appearance of the demon Vritrasura. The summary in different sections is 1 to 10. Indra kills Vishwarupa and distributes sinful reactions. 11 to 20 is the birth of Vritrasura. 21 to 30. Demigods pray for protection and the Lord appears. 31 to 45, prayers of the demigods after the Lord's appearance.
Yeah, she got some net issues there today. Your voice also breaking, na? What are you mentioning?
Hare Krishna. Kindly excuse, there is some internet issue.
Yeah, your voice also, it was breaking it. Then he lost the connection.
Okay. Is it okay now? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, now it is okay.
Okay. Okay. So as Srila Prabhupada gives the summary of this chapter, Indra, the king of heaven, killed Vishwarupa, and therefore Vishwarupa's father performed a yajna to kill Indra. When Vritrasura appeared from that yajna, the demigods in fear sought shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and glorified him. Because of affection for the demons, Vishwarup secretly supplied them the remnants of yajna, and when Indra learned about this, he beheaded Vishwarupa. But he later regretted killing Vishwarupa because Vishwarupa was a Brahmana. Although competent to neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana, Indra did not do so. Instead, he accepted the reactions. Later, he distributed these reactions among the land, water, trees, and women in general. Since the land accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions, a portion of the land turned into desert. The trees were also given 1/4 of the sinful reactions, and therefore they drip sap, which is prohibited for drinking. Because women accepted 1/4 of the sinful reactions, they are untouchable during their menstrual period. Since water was also infested with sinful reactions, when bubbles appear in water, it cannot be used for any purpose. After Vishwarupa was killed, his father Twashta performed a sacrifice to kill King Indra. Unfortunately, if mantras are chanted irregularly, they yield an opposite result. This happened when Twashta performed this yajna. While performing the sacrifice to kill Indra, Twashta chanted a mantra to increase Indra's enemies. But because he chanted the mantra wrong, the sacrifice produced an asura named Vritrasura, of whom Indra was the enemy. When Vritrasura was generated from the sacrifice, his fierce features made the whole world afraid, and his personal effulgence diminished even the power of the demigods. Finding no other means of protection, the demigods began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the enjoyer of all the results of sacrifice, who is supreme throughout the entire universe. The demigods all worshipped him because ultimately no one but him can protect a living entity from fear and danger. Seeking shelter of a demigod instead of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead is compared to trying to cross the ocean by grasping the tail of a dog. A dog can swim, but that does not mean that one can cross the ocean by grasping a dog's tail. Being pleased with the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead advised them to approach Dadichi to beg him for the bones of his own body. Dadichi would comply with the request of the demigods, and with the help of his bones, Vritrasura could be killed. So, proceeding with the first shloka. I would request devotees to start reading according to the roll numbers so that we go according to the time that is given.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Tasyan Vishwarupasya Shiram Chitrini Bharatam Soma Pitam Surapitam Annadam Iti Sushuma. Translation just Prabhupada. Just a minute. Shri Sukadeva Goswami continued. Vishwarupa, who was engaged as the priest of the demigods, had 3 heads. He used one to drink the beverage somarasa, another to drink wine, and a third to eat food. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. Hare Krishna.
Sure, thank you, Prabhu. So this is the first shloka wherein we learn how one must hear from the authorities. That is the first lesson that we learn here in the purport. And Sri Shukadev Goswami himself is expressing that this is expressed in this translation that, O King Parikshit, I have heard this from authorities. So there is no need to speculate. This is how he is sharing with King Parikshit. Indra kills Vishwarup and distributes his sinful reactions. This is the first section. And as we saw in the translation, Vishwarupa had 3 heads. One he used to drink somaras, another to drink wine, and the third to eat food. So by direct experience, one cannot learn anything beyond the range of human perception. One must hear from authorities. Therefore, Shukadev Goswami, a great personality, says that I am describing to you, O King, what I have heard from authoritative sources. Vedic knowledge is called Shruti because it must be received by being heard from authorities. It is beyond the realm of our false experimental knowledge. Second shloka describes how visibly Vishwarupa offered oblations to the demigods, chanting mantras loudly as they were related to him through his father. And he secretly offered oblations to the demons, chanting the mantras. As soon as Indra understood that Vishwarupa was cheating them, he became extremely afraid and angrily cut off Vishwarupa's 3 heads. So, as described in the shloka and the purport, the transformation of Vishwarup's 3 heads is as follows. The head which was meant for drinking somaras transformed into a kapinjala, which is Franklin Partridge, Prabhupada writes. And drinking, the second one, the head which was meant for drinking wine, was transformed into a kalavinka, that is a kind of sparrow. And the third head, which was meant for eating food, became a tittiri, that is a common partridge. So all 3 are the birds. So the heads got transformed into 3 kinds of birds. Now, Indra, although he could neutralize his sinful reactions, he accepted them with folded hands. So this is something very, very instructive in this verse that we must learn. If we commit some mistake, Srila Prabhupada also writes, if one is able to neutralize, one should still accept it with folded hands. And he suffered for 1 full year And then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions among 4 things: earth, water, trees, and women. Right. Does anyone remember any incident where someone had cursed, and even though the other person had the power to neutralize the curse, they accepted the curse?
Parishit Maharaj.
Yes, Parikshit Maharaj.
Narada Muni also.
Narada Muni also. Yes. And Chitraketu Maharaj also. Yeah. Thank you. So the note that we must note here, the intensity of the reaction lessened after a year of repentance. After that, to purify the earth, water, air, and fire elements in his body, which had become impure by his sinful action, Indra divided the sin into 4 parts. Since ether cannot become impure, he purified only 4 elements. But because of this, the sin remained in his antakaran, in the subtle form. And that seed fructified in the form of killing a Brahmana again with the killing of Vritrasura. Thus, we had to suffer. We cannot get by. If there is any sinful activity performed, one cannot escape it. One has to endure the consequences. Now, 7 to 10 section describes how Indra distributes the sinful reactions. Indra offered benedictions to the earth, trees, women, and water for accepting 1/4 of his sinful reaction each. So the benedictions which Indra gave to the 4 things are, maybe somebody can, the next devotee.
Hare Krishna. Earth, ditches in the earth would be filled automatically. Sinful reaction. Deserts or barren island. Trees, the benediction, their branches and twigs would grow back when trimmed, and sinful reaction is flowing of sap. Women, they could enjoy lusty desires continuously even during the pregnancy for as long as sex is not injurious to the embryo. Sinful reaction is signs of menstruation every month. Water, benediction, it can increase the volume of other substances with which it is mixed. Sinful reaction is bubbles and foam.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So the benedictions that these 4 things achieved are something which we can see, and also the sinful reactions. So in return of the sinful reactions, they got the benediction from Indra, as we see here. And in return, they accepted the 1/4 of his sinful reaction each. Now the next section describes how after Vishwarupa was killed, his father Twashta performed a sacrifice to kill Indra, saying, "O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay." However, instead of chanting the mantra short, Twashta chanted it long. His intention was to kill the enemy of Indra. Thus, he prayed for, his intention was to kill the enemy, that is Indra. Thus, he prayed for increase of strength of the enemy of Indra, that is Vritrasura. However, the same words can be taken to mean increase the strength of Indra, the enemy. So, in Sanskrit, each pronunciation must be uttered very, very accurately, otherwise the meaning completely changes. So as and when we recite the shlokas of scriptures, one must take utmost care, as long as possible, as much as possible, try to recite according to the Dirgha and Rasva matras and different connotations and different shlokas which have to be stressed accordingly must be tried and not just chanted. If we are in the position where we can train devotees, we must give them this chance to learn this Sanskrit pronunciation also. Wrong pronunciation should not be accepted. Now, appearance from the sacrificial fire, as soon as Twashta chanted the mantra, which was actually meant for producing enemy of Indra, it produced an enemy who would be the enemy of Indra. From the sacrificial fire came a fearful personality who looked like the destroyer of the entire creation at the end of the millennium. And the demon's fearful features are described from verse 13 to 17. Tall, blackish, gigantic, lustrous, coppery hair, beard and mustache, red eyes with blazing trident. Dancing and shouting with a loud voice, he made the earth tremble as if from an earthquake. As he yawned, he seemed to swallow the sky with his cave-like mouth. He seemed to be licking up the stars with his tongue and eating the entire universe with his long, sharp teeth. Seeing this gigantic demon, everyone ran in all directions in great fear. The fierce description of Vritrasura is explained. I would request next devotee to read.
Named as Vritrasura, that very fearful demon, the son of Tasta, covered all the planetary system. Therefore, he was named Vrita, or one who covers everything.
Thank you, Prabhu. So the word Vritra means the one who covers everything, covered all the planetary systems. Yes, Prabhu, please continue.
The demigods attacked Vritrasura with their soldiers, striking him heavily bows and arrows and other weapons, but Vritrasura swallowed all of their weapons. Worshipping the Lord, struck with the wonder and disappointment, having lost their own strength, the demigods met together and worshipped Super Soul, the original person.
Thank you, Prabhu. As soon as they saw, demigods saw that this Vritra, who is more fearsome than they expected, the demigods attacked Vritrasura with their soldiers and striking him with heavenly bows and arrows and other weapons. But Vritrasura swallowed all their weapons. So the demigods, struck with wonder and disappointment, and also having lost their own strength, they met together and worshipped the Super Soul, the original person. So there's a CBA question. Why did the demigods worship the Supreme Lord? So we see here in this shloka, 21st. May I request next devotee? Please read.
Hare Krishna. Let us take the shelter of the Lord, whom even time, death fears. The five elements, ether, air, fire, water, and earth, are controlled by us, the demigods, but we are afraid of time and offer our presentations by performing our work as time dictates. Hare Krishna.
Even though the demigods are the controllers of this universe, still they are afraid of time and they offer their presentations by performing work as time dictates. So here they admit their inability to control time. And next one. Samba Prabhu, what do you read?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, please go.
22, right, Mataji?
Yes, 22.
The unparalleled shelter, the Supreme Lord is never wonder-struck by anything. Avishmitam, fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection, paripurnakamam sveneva yabhena. Equipoised, samam, and very steady, prasantam. A person desiring protection without approaching him is certainly a great fool who tries to cross the sea by holding onto a dog's tail. Shwa lang gulena.
Thank you, Mataji. So here the demigods describe why they are taking the shelter of the Supreme Lord. This is also one of the CBA questions. Because the Lord is never wonderstruck by anything, avismitam, he is fully satisfied by his own spiritual perfection. Paripurna kamam svenaiva labhen. He is equipoised in all situations at all times, samam, and he is very steady, prashantam. And this is what one requires when one is in problem. He wants to take shelter of a person who is equipoised, who is very steady, who is satisfied in all situations, and he is never wonderstruck by anything. So that is why the demigods approached the Supreme Lord to take shelter. And taking shelter of demigods or those who are not the Supreme Lord is like taking shelter of those people is like trying to cross the sea by holding on to a dog's tail. Even though the dog can swim, certainly one cannot cross the ocean by holding the dog's tail. Next devotee, can please read. So these are the prayers that the demigods are offering from 21 onwards. Very beautiful prayers. The Lord protected us earlier also. So they are giving the evidence how even earlier the Lord protected so many devotees. Yes, next devotee, can you please? Param Tattva Prabhu, please go ahead.
Krishna Mataji. 15. The Manu saved by Matsya. May the Lord, the reliever of dependence, Tratasritan, who saved Manu is ocean of devastation, by binding the boat of the earth on his horn, save us from the fearful danger caused by Vittasura. Brahma
Yes.
saved by the Lord. May the Lord, who saved Brahma from danger in the beginning of the creation, when he almost fell from his lotus seat in fear of the loud waves of devastation, protect us now.
So they are citing examples how the Lord has protected different individuals earlier. And what is the link? Though the Lord is present everywhere, he is not visible to our material senses. By his mercy, he may become visible and protect us. So this is something very, very applied to us, that even though sometimes we pray to the Lord, we may not see his presence, but he is definitely there and he's listening to our prayers right next to us. May not be visible to our material senses, but by his mercy, he will become visible and he will protect us. So this is the prayer of the demigods. May the Lord be visible to us. Does anyone remember something which we sing? Oh, my Lord, please be visible unto my eyes. Is that one line that we sing?
Aham prakasham sarvatra yogamaya samavita.
Yeah, that is
Jagannatha-
there. Yes, Mataji.
Ishopanishad prayers. Ishopanishad.
Devishwari Vishnupriya Mataji just said. What is that line, Mataji, that we sing? Oh, my Lord,
Jagannatha-
please be visible unto
Yeah,
us.
the last
Right.
line of every verse.
Yes, Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Pathagami Bhavatu me. Oh, my Lord, please be visible to my eyes. So, thank you. Yes, next devotee, please read.
Hare Krishna. We cannot see him. The Lord created us by his own Maya, and by his mercy, we expand the creation of the universe. We cannot see him because we think that we are separate and independent gods. Ritag Isha Maninaha.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. this is a very important CBA question also. Why is it that we cannot see the Lord? Even though the Lord created us by his own Maya, and by his mercy, we are in his creation. He expands the creation of the universe, but we cannot see him because we think that we are separate and we are independent gods. We still have the enjoying mentality, and that is the reason we are not able to see him. Yes, brother, please continue.
I should only continue, Mataji?
Yes, brother, Ravilochan.
26. He appears in various incarnations, considering us is his own. Kritva Atmasat. He protects us when we are greatly suffering from the demons by becoming avatars in various forms. Among demigods, Vamana, sages, Parashurama, animals, Narasimha and Varaha, aquatics, Matsya and Kurma, and men, Rama and Krishna. Continue, Mataji.
Yes, continue, brother.
We approach and take shelter of him, who is the shelter of devotees, Atma Daivatam, the supreme cause, Param, the material nature, Pradhanam, the supreme enjoyer, Purusham, the universal form, Vishwam, different from universe, Anyam, worthy of worship by all, Sarve Sharanam Sharanyam, and the super soul, Mahatma.
Thank you, brother. So these are the qualities that the demigods are describing of the Supreme Lord, why he is approachable and why we should take shelter of him. Because he is the shelter of devotees, Atma Daivatam, he is the supreme cause, Param, the material nature, Pradhanam. He is the supreme enjoyer, Purusham. He is the universal form, Vishwam. He is different from the universe, Anyam. He is worthy of worship by all, Sarve Sharanam Sharanyam. And he is the super soul, Mahatma. Therefore, we take shelter of him. Now, after hearing these heartfelt prayers of the demigods, the Lord appears before the demigods. Next devotee, can you please read? Rajeshwar Prabhu, kindly proceed. Yes, please.
Mataji, unmute.
Hare Krishna. The Lord's appearance. When the demigods offered prayers, Lord Hari, carrying his weapon, conch, disc, and club, appeared first within their hearts and then before them. 29. 16 attendants. Surrounding and serving the Lord were 16 personal attendants, appearing exactly like him, Atma Tulya, but without the mark of Vatsa and the Kaustubha. 30. The demigods saw the lotus-eyed Lord smiling and were overwhelmed. They fell down like rods, Dandavat, then slowly rose and offered prayer.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So this is the way the Lord appears first within the heart of a devotee and then in front. Is there any incident where the Lord appeared in front of the eyes of a devotee? Before that, he appeared in the heart.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Narada,
Yes.
Narada
Dhruva
Muni
Maharaj,
was-
Narada Muni. Yes. And seeing him, the demigods began to offer beautiful prayers. They offered respects to the Lord and thus glorified him. Next devotee, then somebody read.
31. We offer our respects to you, who bestow the results of sacrifice, yajna viryaya, destroys the results of sacrifice as the time factor, vayase uta, release the chakra to kill the demons, ashtal chakraya, possess many varieties of names, Supura Hutai. Link, the Lord might say, you are praising me to obtain insignificant temporary Swargaloka. Why don't you ask for Vaikuntha? We cannot understand Vaikuntha because we appeared in the creation later than you, who are the controller of the three destinations, heaven, human birth, hell. The demigods said that the Lord is invoked by many names. Now they praise him by addressing with those names. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So the demigods, although they are praying and approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their intention is to ask for some material benefit, some immediate material problem to be solved. And the Lord is not so much satisfied with that. And the demigods, all they are controllers, they understand that there is a supreme controller even above them. And
Voice is breaking, Mataji.
the
You cannot-
material desires are more than what they
Voice is breaking.
should deserve. Hare Krishna. Is it better now? Hare
Uh,
Krishna.
okay, but we did not understand what is at the sloka number 32. Can you please repeat?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Although the demigods, they know that the Lord is the supreme controller and he can give much more beyond the three destinations, that is heaven, human birth, and hell. Still, here they are praying not for the supreme destination. However, the Lord, even though not so pleased with their intention of asking material things, still, because the Lord is very, very favorably disposed towards his devotees, he is still going to award their desired prayer. So we go further. The demigods, they praise the Lord with different names. So very beautiful verse. Someone can read.
Hare Krishna. Different names of the Lord. O Lord, O Narayana, O Vasudeva, original person, O most exalted person, supreme experience, welfare personified, O supreme benediction, supremely merciful, O support of the cosmic manifestation, sole proprietor of all planetary systems, master of everything, and the husband of goddess of fortune. Om Namaste, Namastestu Bhagavan Narayana, Vasudevadi Purusha Mahapurushaha, Mahanubhava, Parama Mangala, Parama Kalyana, Parama Karunika, Kevala Jagat Adhara, Lokaika Natha, Sarveswara, Lakshmi Natha. Only topmost sannyasis can realize you as they wander, preaching Krishna consciousness with minds fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. When the darkness in their hearts is eradicated, then you are revealed to them and they enjoy the transcendental bliss of your form. We simply offer you our obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is just like we see in Nectar of Devotion, the three types of, or rather the three stages of a prayer. First is some Prarthanatmika, then Dainyabodhika and Lalasamani. So some Prarthanatmika is glorifying the Lord first, then one submits one's humble position, and third is one expresses the desire, the particular desire that one wants to ask from the Lord. So here we see the first kind of stage, the first stage where the demigods are glorifying the Lord's supremacy. and with different names, they are revealing the supreme position of the Lord. And they are submitting that how they cannot realize, only topmost sannyasis can realize the Supreme Lord as they wander preaching Krishna consciousness with their minds fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga. So this is the key. When one's mind is fully absorbed in samadhi through bhakti yoga, in the different activities to serve the Supreme Lord, then the Lord reveals himself to that devotee. Next. Someone can read, please.
It is difficult to understand you. Durava Bodha, because
Ashariraha.
Ashariraha, you have no body. Asharanaha, we are not dependent on anyone. And Anavekshita, we do not wait for our cooperation. Avikriyamanena, you carry out creation, maintenance, destruction without transformation of your Sarupa. Agunaha, you are transcendental to all material qualities, yet you appear to engage in material creation, maintenance, destruction. We cannot understand your actual position. Are you like an ordinary human being who suffers or enjoys his good or bad reaction under the influence of the time, fast works, etc.? Are you present here as neutral witness, Udasate, and who is self-satisfied, Atma Ramaha, free from all material desires, Upashama, Shilaha, always full of spiritual potency, Samanjasa Darshana?
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. So the demigods express how it is difficult to understand the Supreme Lord because he is Durava Bodha. He cannot be understood by material intelligence. And because, moreover, he is not having a material body, he is not dependent on anyone, neither he waits for anyone's cooperation, nor does he carry out creation, maintenance, and destruction without transformation of his Swarupa. And he is transcendental to all material qualities. Yet he appears to engage in material creation, maintenance, and destruction. So this is how Achintya he is, Durava Bodha, difficult to understand. And therefore, the demigods submit that we cannot understand your actual position. Like whether you are an ordinary human being or you are present just as a neutral witness, or who is self-satisfied, Atmaram, free from all material desires, always full of spiritual potency. So here we understand, if the demigods themselves are not able to understand the Supreme Lord, what is our position? So only Bhakti Yoga is the way. Next.
26. All contradictions are reconciled in you. These two conditions or anything seen in you are not contradiction, Virodha, because nothing is impossible for you who possesses inconceivable potency, Atma Maya, and you are full of 6 opulences, Bhagavati, with unlimited transcendental attributes, Aparimita Gunagane. The Supreme Controller, Ishware, possessing glories unfathomable to non-devotees, Anavaghaya Mahatmai. Beyond the arguments of modern philosophers whose minds are agitated by speculative scriptures, opposing and useless arguments, false judgments, and imperfect evidence. Not revealed to the theorists with material conceptions, who try to arrive at the right conclusion with polluted eagerness. You are one without a second, Kevale.
Thank you. So all contradictions are reconciled in you. And these two conditions or anything seen in you are not contradictions, Virodha, because nothing is impossible for you who possess inconceivable potency, Atma Maya. So as we see, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. So even though there appears to be some Bheda or difference, there is no difference because the Lord has no virodha, no contradictions, because he is full in all six opulences. He is unlimited, having transcendental attributes, because we cannot fathom them by our material qualities or material senses. The supreme controller, he is Ishvara, then possessing glories unfathomable to non-devotees. Non-devotees cannot fathom his glories. And he is beyond the arguments of modern philosophers. And also he is not revealed to the theorists who only mental speculate. And he is one without a second. That means he is existing at all times. Then next further, can somebody read, please?
Hare Krishna. You inspire dualities as the super soul according to one's intelligence, such as equality and inequality, proper and mistaken conceptions, peace and disturbance, fear and fearlessness. A rope causes fear in one who considers it a snake, but not for one with proper intelligence. But in you, there is no duality.
Thank you. So the same super soul inspires dualities in people who have different kinds of intelligence. Those who want to get feared and they are under the influence of illusion, they are fearful of the same rope, but one who has proper intelligence understands the difference between a rope and a snake. But in the Lord himself, there is no duality as the super soul. Yes, Prabhu, please continue. As the super soul.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. As the super soul, you are the basic principle of everything. Sarva Vastuni Vastu Swarupa. The cause of total material energy, the cause of all causes, invariable by revealing power of the senses and intelligence. Only you remain after negating matter and its qualities. Question number 39. Devotees never give up bhakti. Devotees who have even once tasted a drop of the nectar from the ocean of your glories, Tava Mahimamrita Rasa Samudra Viprusha, experience incessant transcendental bliss in their minds offered to you. Forget the tiny reflection, Lesha Abhasha, of so-called material happiness and become free of desires. Become the real friends of all living entities. Sarva Bhuta Priya Suradi. Become expert in achieving the real goal of life. Sarvartha Kushala. Never Swartha Kushala, sorry. Never return to this material world. Hare Krishna. Link. Among your devotees, we are very low since we have material desires. Indicating this, they make their request. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, brother. So first they state the qualities of the super soul, how he is the basic principle of everything. He is the cause of the total material energy, cause of all causes. He is inferable by the revealing power of the senses and intelligence, and only he remains after negating matter and its qualities. And then they give the qualities of devotees who never give up bhakti. They say that how the devotees, after having experienced the transcendental bliss in their minds offered to him, the minds which are offered in his service, they forget the tiny reflection, Lesha Abhasaha, of so-called material happiness, and they become free of desires. They become the real friends of all living entities. They become expert in achieving the real goal of life, and thus they never return to this material world. However, still they are admitting that, but we are very low since we have material desires. So we can see the demigods, they have the knowledge of Bhakti Yoga, but still not able to give up those material desires. And they are struggling, even though staying in the heavenly planets. However, they are still approaching the Supreme Lord, and thus the Lord, being so merciful, is hearing their prayers and will then bless them according to their desire. So further we read 40th shloka.
40th. Lord of the threes, O Lord, O shelter of the three worlds as a super soul, Tribhuvana Atma Bhavana, O Trivikrama, O maintainer and subduer of the three worlds, three Nayana, O most beautiful person within these three worlds, three Loka Manoharanubhava. Please take another incarnation. Though the demons are also your vibhutis, now is it not the time for their activities? You have always appeared in various incarnations like Varaha and Hayagriva to punish the demons. Please appear today as another incarnation if you desire to kill Vritrasura. 41. Please relieve us by your nectarian words, merciful glance, and pleasing smile, and free our hearts from anxiety. O grandfather, we are all surrendered and our minds are bound to your lotus feet in meditation, accepting us as your own eternal servants. Be pleased with us and sympathetic towards us. 42. Nothing is unknown to you. What can we, like sparks emanating from a fire, inform you our necessities? You know everything because you are the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of the universe, always engaged in pastimes with your spiritual and material energies, existing internally as Parabrahman and externally as the ingredients of the material creation, the original cause of all causes, manifested in various stages at different times and places and in various bodies, the witnesses of all activities, with a body uncontaminated by matter like sky, the source of Brahman and Paramatma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So here again, the demigods, they are glorifying the Supreme Lord and submitting their plea to relieve them from the fear of demon Vritrasura, and they are appealing him to accept another incarnation if he so desires to kill Vritrasura. Next, someone can please read.
O Krishna, please fulfill our purpose. Since you are omniscient, you know why we have taken shelter at your lotus feet, which provides shade that gives relief from all material disturbances. So please give us relief by counteracting our present distress. 44th verse. Please annihilate Vritrasura, who has swallowed all our weapons, paraphernalia for fighting, strength, and influence. 45th shloka. We offer respects to Hamshaya, Dara, Nilayaya, and Nirikshayaya, the swan-like Lord whose abode is the lake in the heart and who observes all desires. Krishnaya Mrishta Yashase Nirupakramaya. Krishna, whose reputation is bright and who has no beginning. Sat Sangrahaya Bhava Panta Nijashra Maptaya. The Lord who is understood by pure devotees, who enables those moving in the material world to attain the shelter of Krishna. Ante Parishtagataya Haraye Namaste, and who at the end of samsara awards them the highest success of life, such Ijya Salokya or Dashya Prema. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here the purpose of the demigod is very clear. They want to annihilate Vritrasura, and they are appealing the Lord to take an incarnation by which Vritrasura can be killed. And they are offering respects to the Lord, who can give all kinds of benedictions according to the desires of the worshipper. They are saying here the swan-like Lord, whose abode is the heart, and who observes all desires of a particular living entity. And he is Krishna, whose reputation is bright and who has no beginning. The Lord, who is understood by his devotees, enables those moving in the material world to attain the shelter of him. And he is the one who awards them different successes of life according to their desires, that is Sayuja or Salokya or Dasya Prem. Thus, we enter the last section. Someone can please read. The Lord instructs the demigods, hearing their prayers.
The Lord
Krishna.
is
Yeah, go on.
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Yes, maybe half you can read. Param Tattva Prabhu, you can read 46, 47 to 50. Deveshwari Mataji can read the further.
46. Hearing the sincere prayers of the demigods, the Lord was pleased and replied to them. 47 to 15. The Lord condemns material desires. 47. Your prayers are full in knowledge. Through them, one can remember my exalted position and develop bhakti to me. I am pleased with you. Link, how fortunate you praised me with that knowledge, but out of foolishness, you did not pray for bhakti.
pure devotees do not ask anything but bhakti. Kim durabam nahi prite, O best of the demigods, although nothing is difficult, tathapi vibudhar shabah, for one to obtain when I am pleased with him. Mai ekanta matir nanyan. A pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon matto vanchati tattva vitme does not ask me for anything but bhakti. Note, the Lord regretted that the demigods prayed for an opportunity to kill their enemy instead of unalloyed devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Auntie. So here we see the Lord is pleased but not pleased at the same time. He's pleased with them because they are offering prayers in full knowledge of Him. However, they are in their foolishness, they are not praying for bhakti. So the Lord is not pleased with these material desires to be granted. Yes, next. Hare Krishna. Next devotee can read, please. Radha Vrindavan Chandra Guru.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. 47 to 50. The Lord condemns material desires. Fools fulfill material desires. Misraps, Kapranas, misers, misers, that is Kapranas, consider material assets to be everything, and they do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. If one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish.
Yes. Next, please read.
Devotees discourage karma. A pure devotee will never instruct a foolish person to engage in futile activities, like an experienced physician never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it.
Yeah, this is one of the analogy. First analogy was of the dog's tail. And second one is this, just like an experienced physician never encourages a patient to eat food which is injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. Similarly, a pure devotee will never instruct a foolish person to engage in routine activities. Yes, next.
The Lord gives solution to the demigods. 51st shloka. Approach exalted Dadichi immediately and ask for his body, which is strong because of knowledge, vows, and austerity. 52nd shloka. Ashwashira. Thank you, Mataji. Ashwashira. Dadichi personally assimilated the spiritual science and then delivered it to the Ashwini Kumaras through the head of a horse. Therefore, the mantras are called Ashwashira. The Ashwini Kumaras then became Jivan Mukta. 53rd shloka. Dadichi gave the Narayana Kavacha to Twashta, who delivered it to his son Vishwarupa, from whom you, that is Indra, have received it. 54th shloka. When the Ashwini Kumaras beg for Dadichi's body on your behalf, he will surely give it, as he knows dharma. Then Vishwakarma will prepare a thunderbolt from his, I think it's bones, Mataji? From his
bones.
This thunderbolt will certainly kill Vitrasura because it will be invested with my power. Link, that is, the demigods might say, but we cannot fight with Vitrasura, who has devoured everything. You should kill him. You should kill him personally. Hare Krishna.
Last shloka.
55th shloka. Vritrasura will not harm you. When Vritrasura is killed, you will regain your strength, weapons, and wealth. He is also a devotee and will never be envious of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So in this regard, Srila Prabhupada gives the story of the Dadichi Muni and the Ashwini Kumaras in the 52nd shloka. Let us read that together. Why the Lord tells the Ashwini Kumaras to be in the front so that the Dadichi Muni will be pleased. The background is narrated here. That is, it happened before. Would somebody like to read? 52nd.
Not
Yeah.
displaying.
1 minute, I will just. Yes. Yeah. You can read the translation, Mother, and the purport.
That saintly Jan-Jun, who is also known as Dadichi, personally assimilated the spiritual science and then delivered it to the Ashwini Kumaras. It is said that Jan-Jun gave them mantras through the head of a horse. Therefore, the mantras are called Ashwashira. After obtaining the mantras of spiritual science from the Dadichi, the Ashwini Kumaras became Jivan Mukta, liberated even in this life. Should I continue, Mother?
Yes, Mother, please read the purport.
Purport the
Leave the shlokas, we can read from here.
Okay. The great Saint Dadichi had perfect knowledge of how to perform fruitive activities, and he had advanced spiritual knowledge as well. Knowing this, the Ashwini Kumaras once approached him and begged him to instruct in the spiritual science Brahma Vidya. Dadichi Muni replied, I am now engaged in arranging sacrifices for fruitive activities. Come back sometime later. When the Ashwini Kumaras left, Indra, the king of heaven, approached Dadichi and said, My dear Muni, the Ashwini Kumaras are only physicians. Please do not instruct them in spiritual science. If you impart the spiritual science to them, despite my warning, I shall punish you by cutting off your head. After warning Dadichi in this way, Indra returned to heaven. The Ashwini Kumaras, who understood Indra's desires, returned and begged Dadichi for Brahma Vidya. When the great saint Dadichi informed them of Indra's threat, the Ashwini Kumaras replied, Let us first cut off your head and replace it with the head of a horse. You can instruct Brahma Vidya through the horse's head, and when Indra returns and cuts off that head, we shall reward you and restore your original head. Since Dadichi had promised to impart Brahma Vidya to the Ashwini Kumaras, he agreed to their proposal. Therefore, because Dadichi imparted Brahma Vidya through the mouth of a horse, this Brahma Vidya is known as Ashwashira. Ashwashira.
Thanks for this. So we see this background. Because of that, the Dadichi Muni was very much inclined towards Ashwini Kumaras. And that is how the Lord said that you must approach Dadichi, keeping Ashwini Kumaras in the front. And thus, Dadichi Muni will surely give his bones, considering it as his dharma. So we see, I remember once during one of the yatras, we had gone to this place where Dadichi Muni's ashram is there. And it is such a serene and pure place. We can imagine the consciousness of Dadichi Muni. If someone approaches and asks for his bones, that means somebody is saying you must die. He is willing to sacrifice his own body for the cause of the Lord's desire. So this is how we see this Dadichi Muni is so great, and the Lord is sure that this Dadichi Muni will do this. So this is the kind of faith when the Lord is assured that this particular devotee will sacrifice for my purpose. It is the greatest achievement of one's life. That if Guru or Krishna, they have full assurance that this particular devotee is completely dedicated and surrendered to my desire. That is the perfection of one's life. And then the next is, so with this we have completed the 55 shlokas of this chapter. I would like to just revise the analogies which we have already seen. In 22nd shloka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the only shelter of everyone, and anyone desiring to be protected by others is certainly a great fool who desires to cross the sea by holding the tail of a dog. And this is how, instead of approaching any other person, the demigods approach the Supreme Lord. The second analogy is 43rd shloka. One need only seek shelter of the shade of the Lord's lotus feet. Then all the material tribulations that disturb him will be subdued, just as when one comes under the shadow of a big tree, the disturbances caused by the heat of the scorching sun are immediately mitigated without once asking for relief. When one comes in the shade of a tree, automatically all the scorching heat is subdued. Similarly, when one takes shelter of the Lord's lotus feet, all the material tribulations that are disturbing him are automatically subdued. And the third analogy is the 50th shloka. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in the science of devotional service will never instruct a foolish person to engage in fruitive activities for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activities. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to his health, even if the patient desires it. Thus lies the great responsibility of preaching to people who are engaged in all kinds of fruitive activities. There is a breakout room activity. Do we have time now? Can we do now? And then we will take question answers. Is
Yes,
that
Mataji,
okay?
we have time. We have time.
Okay.
Let us do this activity, then you take the question answers.
Yes. Brother. So we will do this activity in 5 groups. We will be divided into 5 groups in the breakout rooms, and each group will have 3 questions to answer. These are the CBA questions, and then later we will discuss them. Okay, so I just thought it will be little interactive. There will be 10 minutes for the whole activity. Devotees can can just refer to the purport. The particular shloka numbers are given. So maybe everyone can take a screenshot of this. And as per your rooms, you can refer to those particular questions and answer them. Okay. Okay, now I will just divide. We are how many of us? 14. So 13.
You can consider only 12, Mataji, only 12.
Only 12. Okay. So we will have 4 groups then. Okay, the last group I will try to. So I will divide into 4 groups. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine. No, you got 5 questions, huh?
Yeah, there
5
are
groups
15 questions.
The 15
So,
questions are there.
In one group, only one person will be there. That's okay?
You have
Hare
10.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mata, please leave me also out because my laptop is not working and I'm seeing from mobile data. So I don't
Okay.
have the Veda base with me now.
Mataji, you can take from the handbook, Mataji. You can, or you
No,
can just,
only my mobile is with me. I cannot
okay,
refer
you
to the
cannot
answers.
participate in the
Yeah.
activity, but you can
Yes. But
check
I'll
the
listen. I'll
answers
listen.
individually. Maybe I will
Yes.
put you in the 5th group, so you can do
Okay.
the last 3 questions from the Veda based directory. Like, just try to answer them. 13, 14,
Okay.
15. And then you can participate in the discussion later. Is that okay?
Yes, Mata. Yes, Mata.
So 13, 14, 15, you can just take note. So other devotees, I will divide into 4 groups. Has everyone taken the screenshot? Then I will stop
Yes.
sharing.
Yes, Mata.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Baba. I'm just assigning. Once you get the message, you can join that particular group. Hare Krishna, Subodhi Mataji.
Which room should I join?
Oh, you are not given an option? Okay. 1 minute. I will put you in room number 4. 1 minute, because there are only 2 devotees there. How will you join now? Room 4.
Okay, room 4, there are only 2.
Yeah. You are able to see room 4?
Yeah, so say we
So
come
can you
out.
join? Yeah, you can join that room, because there are only 2.
Mata, also please display the questions once more because I took
Yes,
a
yes.
screenshot,
Yes,
but
Yes.
the last portion has not come.
Can you see? You can see, Mataji?
Yes, Mata, I'm able to see.
Okay. Sudopi Mataji, you came, huh? It was not showing 10 minutes. Did you finish your activity?
Yeah, we finished.
Okay.
We are very studious, Mataji. We are very studious people.
Very good.
Mataji, are you in GV?
No, Prabhu, I came from GV to Kerala. I am at my Prabhu's Amma's place. My mother-in-law's place. Actually, there is so much greenery. I would like to keep the camera on. But I hope the network will be all right. We'll wait for 3 more minutes. Hare Krishna. Ravilochan Prabhu, your group has finished? Finished the activity? Time was sufficient?
Sorry, Mataji, it was muted. No, actually, we were actually only two of us were there, so we divided questions, Paramathan Prabhu and myself. So he said time is out and he came here. That's why I also came here.
Okay. Oh, but you finished the activity?
Yeah.
Okay. Rajeshwar Prabhu was not there in your group?
No, he was not.
Oh, but he's okay. I think I will close. I will close the rooms now. Time is up, right? Oh, okay. Okay, so Savika Mata. Hare Krishna. So we'll wait for just few seconds. Everybody will join back soon. Hare Krishna. I hope it was helpful. I wanted to do this activity because we were missing it for a long time. We used to do during our Bhakti Viksha class, Bhakti Shastri classes. So just wanted to give that feel of studying together.
But we missed the quiz.
Yes, yes. Very good. Every time something new, no? We have to try something. Very good. So we'll start with group 1. Group 1 is ready. Question number 1, 2, 3.
Question number answer 1 is how to acquire Vedic knowledge is from the authorities, hearing from the authorities, Shruti, because Prabhupada explains in the purport, there are so many things which is beyond our perceptions. Also, the 4 defects, human are always affected by the 4 defects, senses are limited. So we have to hear from the authorities. Even though we humans have become powerful, scientific research, everything, still we cannot find out everything. जो है वो दिखता नहीं है, जो दिखता है वो है नहीं. So.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Second.
Hare Krishna. The second question is, why did Indra kill Vishwarupa? Did Indra kill Vishwarupa because he was Vishwarupa? Basically, he wanted to cheat demigods by giving the offering to the demons. That's the first part. Second part is it justified? The question is was this action proper? Action proper. Second question. Second part. Actually, there is no purport for that justification in that 4 to 10. So I did my own view. I mentioned basically the Vishwarupa, when he acting as a Brahmana, is by default of the Brahmana also. Acting as a Brahmana is supposed to carry out the duty as per is instructed by the Indra, but he did not do that. And one of the qualities of the Brahmana, he says in Bhagavad Gita 18.42 is Saucham. Saucham means purity. No, there should not be duplicity, but he did that case. That's why it is justified. At the same time, Indra's case also, Indra also, he was repented by killing that one. That's also, you can say that. That's how much. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
And also, Prabhuji, it is actually when Vishnu has, Lord has told him to, Brahma, I think, told him to approach Vishwarupa, and he told that he is inclined towards the demigod, demons also, but you should tolerate. But he did not tolerate.
No, because Indra was certain responsibilities. So that responsibility has to carry on. That is the reason killed. But you're taking the responsibility of killing. That is the one part.
So what is the answer? I mean, it can be both ways. We can say that some place it is justified, some place it is not. So what is the exact? Because Prabhupada में कुछ लिखा नहीं है Prabhupada. So what is the correct answer?
So what Kripalu Prabhu said, that is a correct answer.
He was warned to tolerate, but he did not.
Later on, he repented. But
Yeah,
what
he
was
repented.
told to him, he did not follow that.
But if you're not tolerated, then the demigods would also, the demons also would have become stronger. Then how would they be able to kill?
Yeah, that is there. Yes.
You should
He
always
could
be
use-
the.
Yes,
Being
Indra
a
was
priest-
very
being a
powerful.
priest,
He-
he's supposed to carry on his duties as per the instruction. That he did not do it.
Yes, that is exactly the answer.
This is one of the quality of Brahmana, this side is mentioned. That Saucham, the purity.
Yes, correct. So both ways, what Murlivadan Prabhu said, that is also there. And at the same time, Indra should have tolerated and could have told him, could have talked with him instead of killing him. So killing is something which is
Bombing.
beyond.
I also feel that killing is not justified. Yes, he has done a mistake, so he could have talked to him, approached him, or approached higher authorities.
Yes.
But killing is not justified. I feel killing is not justified.
Yes. Correct. Very good. Thank you.
So
Third question.
third question is, why did the demigods decide to worship the Supreme Lord in this past? So in the 20th shloka, it is mentioned that when the demigods saw the strength of the Vritrasura, they themselves lost their strength and they decided to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like it's mentioned that when one is afraid, they should take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Abhaya. And even though although the time factor is fearful to the to everyone, so but the time factor itself is fearful of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who's called the Abhaya, who's known as Abhaya. So it is mentioned that Rake Krishna Mare Krishna Rake. So if the Lord want to save someone, nobody can protect, and the Lord want to kill protect someone, nobody can kill. So similarly, so taking the shelter of the Supreme Lord brings actual fearlessness. So that's the reason demigod took the shelter of the Supreme Personality.
Yes. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Group 1 and Group 2 now. Group 2.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes.
The question number 4, why can't the conditioned soul cannot see the Supreme Lord face to face? So that translation itself is mentioned that all of us think that we are separate and independent souls. So when we think that we are separated and independent, then we cannot see the Lord face to face.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. Question number 5.
Hare Krishna. The question number
5.
Yeah, 5. Some philosophers advocate that Prakriti and Purusha are the cause of universal creation. What is Vaishnava's response to this claim? 26 and 27. But actually, very clear, the Vaishnavas think very clearly that Purusha and Prakriti are they are not they superficially they may appear to be the cause of material manifestation, but these two both of them are different energies of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the Supreme Lord is the cause of both Prakriti and Purusha. He is the original cause, that is Sarva Karana Karanam. Both the Prakriti, which is the inferior energy, and the Purusha, the superior energy, are both emanations from the Supreme Lord. As like it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, that Kama Vishya Bhutani, then also it is the Lord which enters Prakriti, and through Prakriti different manifestations are done. So Prakriti is not independent, or it is beyond the energies of Krishna. So like how it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasva prabhava mattat sarvam pravatade iti matva brajante mam buddhabhava samanvidaha. It means Krishna is the source of everything, both spiritual and material worlds. So both are, these two are not independent. Only the devotees, they understand that and worship Krishna with all their hearts. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So
Yes.
now I came to know why Ravi Lochan Prabhu is always taking more time in CBS. He takes normally 1 hour 20 minutes. Now I came to the reason.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. 6th question.
Hare Krishna, explain how the different forms of the Lord are revealed to the devotees. Actually, here that it's mentioned that when the devotees go to preach Krishna conscious, fully absorbed in samadhi, that is purified hearts, through the bhakti yoga, that time the Lord reveals to the devotees. Actually, when the devotee has to preach the Lord, means the Lord is having 3 different features: Brahman, Parabrahman, and Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So when they come, when they have the complete knowledge of Krishna and they wanted to preach, when they go for a preach with full understanding of the different features of Krishna through the bhakti yoga, then that the Lord, according to the desires and understanding, the Lord reveal himself to the devotees.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. So basically, Bhaktya Mahabija.
Yeah, but
Thank you, Prabhu. Group 2, thank you very much. Group 3.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So the first question of third group is, why is it difficult to understand Krishna and his activities? 34 to 36. So here in the translation only it is clearly written that Lord creates, maintains and annihilates the cosmic manifestation by himself, and nevertheless he appears engaged in material activity and is transcendental to all the material qualities, and such his transcendental activities are very difficult to understand for others by the conditioned soul. Okay, and although Krishna is situated in his abode Golok Vrindavan, but he is simultaneously pervading everywhere, all pervading, and therefore is present everywhere. So this cannot be understood by the conditioned souls. How all these things are happening. Okay, and then in 35 also it is said in translation itself, the ordinary conditioned soul is subjected to the material laws. Okay, and thus he receives the fruits of his activities. But all such things don't happen for the Lord's. Okay, so these all such things are also very difficult for the conditioned soul to understand how this is happening. Okay, then in 36 also it is written that Lord is one without a second, and therefore in you contradictions like doing and not doing, happening and distress are not contradictory. Within the Lord, these are not contradictory. For material people, these are, but for Lord, these are not contradictory. And your potency, Lord's potency is so great that it can do and undo anything as he likes. And with the help of that potency, nothing is impossible for the Lord. And since there is no duality in his constitutional position, he can influence anything by his energy, and all these things are very difficult for the conditioned soul to understand. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So if we have to say in 1 or 2 lines, how will you say, Prabhuji? Why is it difficult to understand Krishna and his activities for the conditioned soul?
See, because Lord, even though he's managing the material manifestations and everything, but he himself is always aloof this. He is always transcendental to all these things. And he's just a witness to our activities. So conditioned soul don't understand all these things. Because they are always on the bodily platform. They are like Mayavadi philosophers. They are always on the bodily platform only. They cannot understand all these things. That's what is difficult.
Thanks, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Anybody wants to add anything? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna, Mata. Pranams.
Krishna to all of you. I just wanted to add one point here. It says that one is because we are conditioned, we cannot understand. And the second part in the translation itself of verse number 36, we understand that we have come to wrong conclusions because of our own speculative nature. It says no, many modern theologians argue about right and wrong without knowing what is actually right. Their arguments are always false and their judgments inconclusive because they have no authorized evidence with which to gain knowledge of you. So because of this polluted nature, contamination, we are not able to understand the Lord. Otherwise, actually, there is no contradictions. It is that we are not able to understand Him because of our own shortcomings.
Thanks, Mataji. Question number 8.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna.
I have one point with regards to question number 2. Why did Indra kill Vishrupa? Was his action proper? Here I wanted to say that his action was not proper. The very reason being, it says that he was fearful. Who Indra was fearful. And when we, though the purport is not given, if you see the later section, when the Lord appeared, he was actually not happy because they were not asking for bhakti, but they were asking for something which is material. That means when they were feared, that means even though the Lord said, still they are fearful means what? They had not taken the shelter of the Lord completely. That is why the action of Indra is improper. It is to be condemned.
Thank you. Question number 8.
Hare Krishna. What factors influence the ability of the jiva to perceive the super soul? Verse 38. I found out 2 factors. According to various stages of one's intelligence, one realizes the presence of the Supreme in everything through the manifestation of Lord's energy. And the second is by the 3 gunas, one can understand Lord's presence according to one's modes of material nature. If any devotee has found some other point, they can also mention.
Correct. I also found these 2 points only. If anybody wants to add anything. Intelligence and the 3 modes of material nature. According to that, one perceives the super.
So 9th question I can do, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Describe the important influence transcendental bliss has in the life of a devotee, verse 39. So in the translation it is given. Such exalted devotees forget the tiny reflection of so-called material happiness produced from the material senses of sight and sound. Free from all desires, such devotees are the real friends of all living entities. Offering their minds unto the Lord and enjoying transcendental bliss, they are expert in achieving the real goal of life. Also in the purport it is written, a devotee who has once tasted the nectar from the Lord's feet can realize what transcendental pleasure there is in the Lord's devotional service. A devotee knows that simply by rendering service to the Lord, he serves everyone. Therefore, devotees are real friends to the living entities. Only a pure devotee can preach the glories of the Lord for the benefit of all conditioned souls. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thanks, Mataji. Thank you, group 3. If nobody wants to add anything, we'll go further. Group 4, question number 10.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
For answer number, for question number 9, from this also it is very evident when in nectar devotion it says that the bliss of performing bhakti is the topmost, like it is like an ocean and it is ever increasing. So this supports that concept, or that concept is what to say, it is elaborated here you can take it in both ways. So like how the material happiness is considered like a drop, and of gnana is considered like a puddle of water, and the bliss one gets performing bhakti is like an ocean, anandamudi vartanam. So that is what it is.
Thank you. Thanks, Mataji. Question number 10.
Hare Krishna. What is the difference between Sakama and Akama devotees, and what are the spiritual disadvantages of being a Sakama devotee? To the first part of the question, the difference between Sakama and Akama devotees is that when Sakama devotees, like the demigods, fall into difficulty, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead for relief. Whereas Akama devotees, even in the greatest danger, never disturb the Lord for material benefits. Even if an Akama devotee is suffering, he thinks this is due to his past impious activities and agrees to suffer the consequences. He never disturbs the Lord. However, Sakama devotees immediately pray to the Lord as soon as they are in difficulty, but they are regarded as pious because they consider themselves fully dependent on the mercy of the Lord. And what are the disadvantages it is mentioned? The disadvantages here is even while suffering in the midst of difficulties, devotees simply offer their prayers and service more enthusiastically. In this way, they become, Sakama devotees, of course, achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. That's the disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Yes.
So, yeah, it is also to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, that's the secondary part of it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody wants to add anything? We very much covered, Prabhuji covered everything. Yes. Question number 11.
Hare Krishna. Question number 11 is, does a devotee need to inform the Lord of his material needs? Explain. The Srila Prabhupada explains, like the pure devotees, they don't have to ask Lord for their convenience. They don't have to inform the Lord because they know very well that Lord is all pervading as Brahman, and he is also situated in everybody's heart as a Paramatma, and also he is the cause of all causes. And then he knows about everything because he is omnipresent also and omniscient also. So the pure devotees understand this very much. So they know very well that no need to inform the Lord because he knows everything. But at the same time, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.16, Artho Artharthi Jijnasu Jnani, they approach me because they are not developed their conscious fully, like as Sachimati said, they are not surrendered completely. They approach the Lord for their material needs.
Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful. Question 12.
Shall I answer this one?
Yes,
for the
Prabhu,
last
you can
question.
add.
Last question.
Which
Shall I
last
add
question?
Yeah, the
This
Sakama
11?
devotees,
10. Okay.
even though they are promoted to higher planetary systems, but their heart still will have the desire to lord it over the material nature. That's why they are always disturbed with the demons and all those things.
Yes. Yes. Question 12.
Hare Krishna. Question 12. How are the material tribulations automatically subdued? The answer is that analogy which Mataji had shown, that when to protect ourselves from the scorching heat, we run under the shade of a tree, and thus automatically we are saved from that. Similarly, we know that the Supreme Lord, He is omniscient, He is present as Paramatma, the Supreme, the spiritual master who knows everything. So the best way is to surrender under His lotus, take the shelter of it, and thus automatically it gets subdued.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you, Group 4. So say our Shubhangi Gaupriya Mataji, are you ready?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
So the 13th question is, why do the demigods specifically pray to Krishna and not Vishnu? So although there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu, the demigods approached Krishna because he descended to this planet for protecting his devotees and annihilating the miscreants. And he is being the original cause of everything above Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu and Narayana. So this is given in the purport, Mataji. And then 14th is, in what way was the Lord dissatisfied with the demigods? The Lord regretted the fact that the demigods did not ask for pure devotional service and asked for something material. And then 15th, how does Krishna reciprocate with someone who approaches him to fulfill material desires? Krishna does not award him material desires. Instead, he gives him the intelligence so that they will forget the material desire and become attached to the Lord's lotus feet. In some cases, like Kripana, he will take away whatever material possessions they have so that they will come to the sense that they have to become a devotee. And the important analogy is that a mother does not give poison to the children, even though the children request it sincerely. So this is the analogy, Mataji. Any points to be added, please?
Yeah. Someone would like to add anything to any of the questions? Thank you, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran ki jai. Birth of Viprasur ki jai. So there are many nice applications and many nice lessons to be learned from this story further as we go ahead. However, in this chapter, we saw the shortcomings that one can suffer because of the shortcomings, and what to pray, what not to pray, what are the different destinations of people who desire certain things, and also how the sinful reactions were distributed among those four things, and what are the benedictions in return that they got. So this is the summary. And Srila Prabhupada says that Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati, that only through Bhakti Yoga one can achieve the desired result and attain the perfection of human life. Hare Krishna. Yes, anybody would like to add anything, comment, ask questions? Ravi Lochan Govind Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Mataji. First of all, thank you for the wonderful class, Mataji. It was, even though it was such a lengthy chapter, which almost had 55 verses, you covered everything and gave the synopsis of everything. This is very nice, Mataji. Even though some of the verses were so long, Prabhupadas, you gave the glimpse and the the short, this one of that one. It was very nice, Mataji. The question what I had was the 40th verse. It is said that these demons are also vibhutis of the Lord. That means they have some partial this one of the Lord. How is it possible that they have vibhuti and also they are always being defeated by the Lord, unless otherwise they they mistreat their other person? It is because of the other person they get strength. It is not that they have their own strength, because like the devatas commit mistakes by offending their spiritual masters. They get that sort of this one. But how do we consider that they have the vibhutis? Do they also have this type of vibhutis? And I have one more question, Mataji. Shall I ask afterwards after this?
Yes, sir. You said shloka 40.
What?
40. No? Yes, Prabhu. In the sense that everything is coming from the Lord himself. He is the cause of all causes, even though the demons, they misutilize his powers. They are still his vibhutis, in the sense that they are also having the power that is given by him only. But it is only because they misutilize the power that they are demons, and they are defeated by him and punished. So, is that the question you are asking, or I don't know?
Yeah, okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Basically, I was asked that same thing, Mataji. I was asking that the vibhuti is normally given to the like the demigods and other, like when we see that
Uh-huh.
normally till now we were seeing that vibhutis are given to them.
Yeah, Vibhuti in the
but,
sense,
here-
Vibhuti means empowered,
Yeah,
one
empowerment.
who is
correct,
empowered.
correct.
Vibhuti means
But
empowered.
normally Lord doesn't empower the demons.
Hmm.
Correct, Mataji. But here in this case, they are written, you are also vibhutis of the, that's for that I was asking, Mataji.
Yeah. Srila Madhvacharya says, Vividham Bhava Patratvat Sarve Vishnor Vibhutayaha. Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, and all the other incarnations proceed from Lord Vishnu. Yeah, here in the last paragraph, it is said that Sakam devotees, of course, they achieve from the Lord the results they desire from their prayers, but they do not immediately become fit to return to Godhead. It is to be noted herein that Lord Vishnu, in his various incarnations, is always the protector of his devotees. Yes, what you're saying is correct. But this Vibhuti word is used here in the context of empowerment or powers received from the Lord. Anybody would like to add anything? Can add. This is what I have understood, that the empowerment comes from the Lord for everyone, either demigods or demons. However, depends on the person how they utilize it.
In this context, maybe the demons required the empowerment, Mataji. It could be that also, that they required it, so that's why Lord gave them that empowerment, even though they are demons.
But here the vibhuti or the empowerment is with reference to the incarnations, no? Nothing to do with the demons.
Exactly. I was also thinking the same also, because the 40th shloka, of
There-
course, Vibhuti word comes, but it is not mentioned here as demons. It mentions all
The
different
reason-
incarnations of the Lord.
Yeah, that's the reason the reference is 1328.
Yes.
So that is not, that empowerment is not with reference to the demons. It says that how even the incarnations are also equally potent and powerful, and how, but that is the reason they are saying, no, you take an incarnation.
Correct. Yeah. They are
Is
saying
the
that you have incarnated in so many ways.
So many,
So now you please incarnate to kill Vritrasura.
Yeah, that is what they are saying. So that is with reference to that.
Yeah.
Not with reference to the demons being empowered. No. Not at all. That is the reason they are next asking, please take an incarnation to help us.
Correct. Assuming such various forms, you have always punished the demons and animals.
Correct, yeah.
Therefore, we pray that your Lordship appear today as another incarnation, if you so desire to. So, what is that word here? Vibhutayaha, expansions of energy. Yeah.
The Vilochana Prabhu, is it clear, or did
Okay,
I
Mataji.
take it wrong, your question?
I hope that is what you're asking, Prabhu. Vibhuti, in what sense is used here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This
So
is
in
reference to the Lord Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah.
My second question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That in 49th verse, it says that if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he is considered foolish. So how this is to be understood? Because they are asking the Lord himself. Lord is awarding that. So how should we take this?
49th verse. Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers. They do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he also must be considered foolish. There are two classes of men. Purport, if you see, let me share it. There are two classes of men, namely Kripana and Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who knows Brahman, the absolute truth, and who thus knows his real interest. A Kripana, however, is one who has a material, bodily concept of life. Not knowing how to utilize this human or demigod life, a Kripana is attracted by things created by the material modes of nature. The Kripanas who always desire material benefits are foolish. whereas Brahmanas who always desire spiritual benefits are intelligent. If a Kripana, not knowing his self-interest, foolishly asks for something material, one who awards it to him is also foolish. Krishna, however, is not a foolish person. He is supremely intelligent. So very clearly, Prabhupada mentions that those Kripanas who ask materialistic people for their own material things and they get those things, those who give them are also foolish because they do not understand the real self-interest. And the Kripanas are also have no self-interest. That is why they are asking for material things. Clear, no, Prabhu? But
Clear.
Krishna is not a foolish person. He is supremely intelligent. If someone comes to Krishna asking for material benefits, Krishna does not award him the material things that he desires. Instead, the Lord gives him intelligence so that he will forget his material desires and become attached to the Lord's lotus feet. In such cases, although the Kripana offers prayers to Lord Krishna for material things, the Lord takes away whatever material possessions the Kripana has and gives him the sense to become a devotee. Thus, Chaitanya Charitamrita reference is also given that since I am very intelligent, why should I give this fool material prosperity? Instead, I shall induce him to take the nectar of the shelter of my lotus feet and make him forget illusory material enjoyment. So the translation is saying about those people who give such things to the Kripanas are also foolish. So it's not directly addressed to the Lord. It's just talking in general about those people who give desired results to those Kripanas in the material world.
Yes, Mataji, this one question was that they are asking the Lord only, no, Mataji. Now, Lord is awarding them, he awards them.
No, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Devatas are asking the Lord to take an incarnation and to kill Vritrasura. But here Krishna is not accepting that to kill him, but he is giving the other way that you can go through this and you yourself kill. That's what the Lord is saying.
Prabhu, if you see the previous shloka, the translation, the Lord is saying that, O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee, whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me, does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So he's making it very clear that those who are pure, intelligent devotees, they do not ask for anything material. But those who are Kripanas, the Lord is saying this, Prabhu. The demigods are not saying this. Those who think material assets to be everything or to be the ultimate goal of life are called misers, and they do not know the ultimate necessity of the soul. Moreover, if one awards that which is desired by such fools, he must also be considered foolish. So the Lord is saying this to the demigods. They are not praying this to the Lord. Shri Bhagavan Uvach, 47 to 55. The Lord says.
So, Mata, can I add one thing, Mata?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Ravilocana Prabhu, as Mataji was saying, see from 47, actually the Lord is condemning the material desires of these demigods. So from this we can understand that they are not pure bhaktas. So it is not ahituki. That is one clarification we get.
No,
And
Prabhu
second,
thought that, sorry. Prabhu thought that the demigods are saying this to the Lord.
No,
So
Mataji, no. Not like that.
he's saying that why should the Lord give this benediction? Correct, no, Prabhu?
Correct. This is what my question.
Why did
No,
the
but
Lord
he's telling that
award-
they are fools if anybody asks like that. And why? How come the Krishna, Lord himself? Because he also earlier chastised them, saying that, see, you are coming to me for asking for material benefits. what is this? You know, instead of that, why you are not asking Vaikuntha? That's he asks, and then finally he says this one, that only the the fools only will ask, and the fools will derive. That's what I just wanted the clarification on that, Mataji.
But just before that, Prabhuji, but at the same time, because what happened, Prabhuji, two things here. Whatever said and done, they were fearful, but the point here is they approached the Lord again when they were in distress. And because they prayed sincerely, that was which pleased him. You understood, Prabhu, when they had a problem, they again did not run to any other demigod, but they felt now the Supreme Lord is their only shelter. That is the difference, Prabhuji, here. Though apparently we may feel, why did, even though it is a material desire, why did the Lord award? But still, the Lord says, no, 4 types of people come to me. Artha, Artharthi, Jigyasu, Gnani. So they did not go elsewhere. They still understood that point. Though they had a material desire, saying no, though we understand, still we are attached. They are saying that. So, but then when they were fearful, they ran to the Supreme Lord Krishna for their, to save them. That pleased, and that's the reason the Lord said, okay, I'm giving you a solution. You go to the Dichi. Like that, he is giving them a solution.
Okay, Mataji, thanks.
That because of the sincere prayers and their approach to him is what pleased the Lord, and he gives them a solution. Okay, though it is not first class bhakti. Though it is not first class bhakti.
Correct.
Just like we see in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, even though he approached for material desires, the Lord ultimately gave him liberation and he gave him bhakti, but at the same time, he still gave him the permission to rule for 36,000 years, even though he did not want that time. So the Lord, according to the desire of the devotee, awards. At the same time, he is clarifying that what is most pleasing to him is pure devotional service. But in case of the demigods, because they approached him to fulfill that material desire, he is clarifying that even though it is not something which is most pleasing to me, and those who are kripanas will not ask, they will ask for material things, but still, because you have approached me, I am giving this benediction. And that also he is telling them to go and ask the Dichi.
Thanks, Mataji.
Yeah, very nice question, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Murlidharan Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Actually, I wanted these questions before Ailochan Prabhu's question, but anyhow, the question is in different angle. This related to the same 48 and 49. So my point is, that demigods approaching Supreme Lord is not the first time. Many times they approach. So any incarnation comes, whether it's Lord Krishna or anybody comes, they approach the Supreme Lord. That time Lord did not use this type of preaching to demigods. Why suddenly Lord has suddenly become, this type of preaching came into picture.
You're asking why the Lord is saying like this?
Yeah, because he could have done so. He could have given a solution, no? And here Lord suddenly started preaching, Bhakti Mama Vijanati, that of instruction started giving. He never gave that instruction in other instances, like in the demigod's approach and the Lord Krishna to be appeared. That time he did not give that instruction, or any other case. Many times the demigod appeared, approach of Supreme Lord.
Yeah. This is the difference between a pure devotee and a devotee on the material platform. Krishna says, Prabhupada says in the purport of 48, indirectly, the Lord regretted that the demigods did not ask for pure devotional service. But directly, because they were approaching him, he fulfilled their material desires. Although without difficulty, one can get anything he desires if the Lord is pleased. The demigods aspire for material profit by pleasing the Lord. And that is why he is called Traya, right? What is that word we saw? Because he fulfills the desires of all the 3 worlds on their level. Heavenly planets, the devotees, even though they are devotees, they are Mishra Bhaktas, right? Sakam devotees. So he fulfills their desire, but because they are Sakam devotees, they are still considered pious, better than the non-devotees.
And Mother, adding to this, I just wanted to just add something that when Hiranyaksha was creating havoc, demigod went and prayed to take incarnation, and Lord took Varaha incarnation because Hiranyaksha was creating a havoc to all the living beings. Here, Lord advising Devata to go to Dadichi and ask for a benediction is because Indra has committed a mistake of killing a Brahmin. Here, that is the thing. And Devata was asking the Lord to kill Vritrasura. But Lord did not kill. He has given the way to kill Vritrasura. So,
And I want to add one point here, Mata, with your kind permission.
Yes,
Prabhu
Mataji, please go ahead.
says Swarat Prabhuji. When he wants to give instruction and when he doesn't want to give instruction is ultimately to him,
No
Prabhuji.
question to be asked.
There are nobody to ask him.
Okay.
So when he'll first give instruction and then give solution, or when he will directly give solution, is up to him. So
Okay. Good answer, Mati. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, in this connection, I want to tell Ramakrishna Prabhu's quote in our Bhakti Vaibhav Dhari in our Bhagavatam class. He says, actually, he was telling in the lighter note that one film song, Govinda's film song, he says, he sings that, Meri Marzi. And he keeps repeating that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, in fact, we saw so many qualities, before of the super soul and the Lord, that how he is independent, he is Swarat, he is the ultimate cause of all causes. So he knows what he is doing. So if somebody he gives some instruction and somebody else he gives contradictory instruction. So for us, it may seem very contradictory, but for him, there is no contradiction. All contradictions are reconciled in him. So
Yeah, thank you.
that is-
Thanks, Mati. It's a very fabulous class. It's very nice presentation.
Hare
Thanks a lot.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks to you, Prabhu, for all the support and kind prayers. Yesterday, Prabhu was saying all the best. So when the devotees pray, then there is some empowerment.
Guru
Hare
Maharaj ki
Krishna.
jai ho.
Jai. Thank you.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I just wanted to add something on a lighter note. Actually, as jivas, when we desire something material and we are not so intelligent, we approach the demigods. But demigods know that the ultimate provider or who gives benediction is the Lord. So even if their desire, be it little like material or not the ultimate desire, they know they have to ultimately approach the Lord.
Yes, Samba Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much for the very enlightening class, and also especially the question answers part and the breakout rooms reminded us of the Bhakti Shastri class.
Very well.
Mataji, I had a question related to the 40th shloka regarding Sakama and Akama devotees.
Yes.
There we hear, I'm not sure if it's a silly question. It's, for example, if a devotee is practicing bhakti and if one still has anarthas, if one is still having attachments, then they are again taking birth and they're taking birth again, and also I think Lord is empowering them, and then they are demigods, right? If I'm not wrong. So in that case, we also have a Mahatma, which is Yamraji. So are we to say that he also had an attachment and hence they have to, go through a birth?
Go through?
Another birth. They have to go through another birth because they had attachment, although he's a Mahatma. Sorry. Although he's a Mahatma, he took birth once again. If you remember, Mataji, in Mahabharata, we hear that I think he is a Kama devotee, where when he was asked, he was supposed to be born as a Shudra, right? So when he accepted it without any, here's some voices actually. He took birth once again. He had to take birth as a Shudra. I'm not sure somebody is talking in the background.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes. So are we to say that, like, even Yamraji had anarthas?
Hare Krishna. Mataji, as far as Yamaraj is concerned, if you're asking about Yamaraj, he is one of the Mahajans. And Mahajans are those who have to be followed in the example that they set. Mahajano yena gata sapantha. And in case of Yamaraj, it was the Lord's desire that he be born as Vidura and come to the earth and engage in various pastimes which will assist the Lord in his mission. So if you're asking about Yamaraj in particular, it was the Lord's desire to be born because he is so much engaged in so many other activities there that even in the Ajamil pastime we saw that Yamaraj was very happy that the Yamadutas were talking about Lord Narayan because
Yes.
there's hardly any discussion about Narayana in the hell. So I heard one of the lectures that Yamaraj wanted a voluntary vacation so that he
Yes.
can exclusively glorify the Lord and continue in his sadhana as a devotee. So in his case, it was the Lord's will that he be born as Vidura. But as far as other demigods are concerned, other than the Mahajanas, the demigods are born according to their own karma. They have different, just like human beings have their karma and are born and have human life is the junction by which one can either go above or below the planetary systems. So demigods are also subjected to karma within the universe. According to their karma, their own activities, they either enjoy or suffer. Enjoyment may be for longer time compared to the earthly planets, but still they have to end that and come back or go lower or go higher according to their
Great. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
So demigods are. Anybody would like to add anything? Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much. Sorry for going off board, which is way beyond time. Muralidharan Prabhu, should we stop here?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you a lot, Mataji. Once again, it's very nice. I was really wondering yesterday, how will you able to manage all these things within your short time? But you covered very nice, excellent. The way you covered is excellent.
All glories to Guru
So many
Maharaj, all glories
slokas, so
to
many
Prabhu.
slokas, big slokas, so many instructions, but he covered very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you all
not-
very much.
Yeah, let us
Yes.
pray for Sachi Mata is good. Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
God pray for you, Mataji, for your speedy recovery. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining, Mataji, and blessing all.